So with Jujutsu Kaisen Zero's movie over and done with for a few months now, I have been continuously reading the Jujutsu Kaisen manga weekly, and season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen is honestly still up in the air for an official release date, and has yet to get an announcement, though I could assume it will come out in 2023, as we have not gotten an actual announcement yet, unless we get something in the next couple of months or after this video goes up. But the point of me making this little short video right here is to talk to anyone that has given the Jujutsu Kaisen anime a shot, or the opening of Jujutsu Kaisen's manga a shot, and ask the question and answer it. Should you read the Jujutsu Kaisen manga? Well, yes, you should. Now let me explain. The Jujutsu Kaisen manga, honestly, I understand why some people have criticisms or misgivings about giving it a fair shot, and a lot of it is fairly surface level, but understandable to a certain degree. I'm not going to say you're wrong, or that you're an idiot, or that you have bad taste, or whatever, because a lot of these things when it comes to anime and manga or any form of media is just purely subjective, and everyone's got their own tastes and opinions regardless of what it is, and I fully respect that. However, I just want to provide my case for why you should actually continue reading Jujutsu Kaisen, why the manga is, well, pretty damn good. Before I get into the full video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. Also, don't forget to check me out on Instagram and Twitter if you want to check out what I'm doing or saying or whatever on my daily life. I do post there when I upload a video as well, so in case the notifications somehow don't work, you'll be able to see it when I upload just by going on to my social media accounts. I'll also do it on the community tab also, but either way, go check those out. And now let's hit that intro. So here's a few things that I need to talk about for Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, a lot of people that I've seen are like bashing on Jujutsu Kaisen for a lot of reasons, and one of them is probably because they're comparing it to their own favorite series and saying that it's better or worse. Now, like I said, everyone's got their own tastes, but the problem with that is when you can constantly compare your favorite series to anything new, it's always going to be underwhelming, or you're going to have some high expectations of what makes your favorite series your favorite series. I'm like that when it comes to, let's say, One Piece, but I try to give a new series a shot because everything's different, or they have like certain aspects that, well, are inspired by one another, and they try and have their own twists on it. I made a video like 2-3 years ago, back on the start of 2020, when I was talking about me catching up to the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, and I essentially called it the New Gen's Hunter x Hunter. Now, was that a bold claim? Oh yes, that was a very bold claim. Thankfully that video is no longer up because I was like very bad at articulating any type of meaning behind it. But the point of what I meant by that is how the power system is structured, and how we tend to go more in depth into the psychology of our characters, and how it's not all the same thing as every classic shonen. Now, there are a bunch of videos saying that Jujutsu Kaisen is the most shonen anime, or the peak of shonen anime, and those aren't necessarily wrong. They are right in the regards that Jujutsu Kaisen has a lot of classic things that make it a really great shonen. But the series, as it goes on, likes to play with that formula as it goes on, and really plays with your expectations. Now, season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is everything from the opening 50 or so chapters, does kind of play into how classic shonen anime tend to do things and escalate problems with providing the characters a challenge to overcome, facing off against the main villain group a few times, whether they be losing or they have the upper hand but the villain gets away and becomes stronger next time, or just having like a whole arc where it shows the growth of the characters from point A to point B. That's basically season 1 in a nutshell, and you can tell that it has similarities and is inspired by a lot of the different shonen tropes that we've come to know and love over the years, and that's just par for the course for any shonen, and it's kind of come to be expected. But with JJK Zero, with the prequel movie or the prequel manga, whichever one you prefer, because they're both really good, with those they tend to play with your expectations a lot more, and especially the material that is directly after what we cover in the anime. And now we actually get to the title of this video. Should you read Jujutsu Kaisen's manga? Should you continue reading it? And obviously it's yes, like I said at the beginning. Jujutsu Kaisen's manga has a really good set of pacing. The anime does a great job with its pacing as well, but the manga has some really nice pacing, and I have to say the action and the artwork really does pay a lot of attention to it, and it's just very impressive and just continues to get better as it goes on. Hell, a lot of people's main complaint is the fact that Jujutsu Kaisen's manga art is ugly, or it just doesn't look right, and I can understand where you're coming from with that that kind of argument, because that was something that I originally had a thought of when I first saw Jujutsu Kaisen's art, when the first chapter dropped a long time ago, when it first came out on Viz. But I was at my local Barnes & Nobles and I found the first volume and I picked it up, because as I looked through it, I don't know what it was, but the art style actually seemed pretty cool to me. It had this type of edge, this messy look that just honestly made things transition a lot smoother. Granted, obviously the earlier portions of the manga and some flat character designs do kind of make it a little less intriguing, but as it goes on, not only do the character designs look better, look fleshed out along with their actual character arcs, but the way the action is portrayed with the sketchy artwork just gives you the sense of both chaotic action as well as some really fluid fight choreography that some current shonen don't really do very well, which is honestly something to be commendable. And Jujutsu Kaisen really does have a lot of fights where it's basically just hand-to-hand combat with cursed energy and finding a way to get around your opponent's abilities. And this is especially true, like I said, right after where the anime left us, which is something that I was very excited about, because I caught up to Jujutsu Kaisen's manga as the anime was airing. I caught up to it literally halfway through season 1. I caught up to the Shibuya incident arc right before it ended. And in that instance, that arc came out at the same time as the Spade arc in Black Clover and the first war arc of MHA. And those were really hype arcs, and I was so excited to read them. And the Shibuya incident is where Gegao Gotami really shines with their artwork and choreography, and the storytelling was honestly on point. I'm not going to spoil anything except for some out of context things for the arc with some awesome action scenes, but the way that the cursed energy system is expanded, we get some nice stuff with Sukuna. Yuji gets some really strong development in this arc. Everybody gets their time to shine, and it even has moments where it makes me concerned and anxious about what's going to happen next, because this was basically a mini war arc. This was more or less, I'd have to compare it to something like perhaps a similar scale to the Marineford War in One Piece, and that is something very big because I loved One Piece, and Marineford is my favorite arc in the whole story. But Shibuya Incident gave me the same feelings I had while watching and then reading Marineford in One Piece. I was anxious for the characters. I was hyped to see these awesome battles, because as of right now, that arc has pretty much all of the main named characters in this one area duking it out against the main threat. And it gives you this sense of foreboding that something bad might happen, or the heroes will just barely manage to win. And Akutami manages to balance out with not just the action and the portrayal of the abilities and the power system, and it further expands upon it, but with how the characters grow and how each different situation within the story continues to give you some nice, I don't know how to articulate it, some nice little nuggets of information and just beautiful moments that just really make you appreciate the arc in and of itself, and even the entire series. Because this is early on in Jujutsu Kaisen, within the first 3 years, and it's just, their first mega arc was just amazing. I know it kind of trailed off from the artwork, but the artwork is at its peak in Shibuya Incident. It still goes on to be really cool as the series progresses, but I still feel like Shibuya Incident is the best the art has ever looked. Same with the action scene, but that's not the only reason why people tend to give JJK a lot of flack. Season 1 had a lot of great moments, but I can see why some people were turned off by certain characters, like Megumi not getting too much development or something boring up until the end, but even then his character wasn't super deep, and I can understand that argument. I liked Megumi by the time we reached the Goodwill event, and I have to understand that the side cast wasn't super developed. Todo was the most developed out of the entire side cast from Kyoto, as well as Mai in that instance, but everyone else didn't have as much development. But, like I said, when we get to Shibuya Incident, we get a lot of great character moments, and post-Shibuya Incident, the side cast for JJK, for the Tokyo School, get a lot of development. Panda and Maki post-Shibuya Incident and after that becomes one of my all-time favorite characters, and I'm not going to spoil what happens with it, but she has so many amazing moments and fight scenes, Shibuya and past that when the anime adapts this stuff, it's going to look amazing, and people are going to like Maki, because that was another complaint. No one really liked Maki all too much from what I've seen. For all I know, outside of the JJK manga fans who enjoyed Maki's character all throughout and just got rewarded with it with post Shibuya, it's something that not everyone tends to like in terms of the side cast of JJK. And a lot of people honestly liked Gojo the most, because Gojo was the most expressive, he was the most upbeat, he was just fun to watch. He was one of the reasons why I gave JJK a shot, because I just loved Gojo that much. But as the series went on, I cared about every single character. Yuji, while starting off as a generic shonen protagonist at first, season 1 showed the seeds and the development for his growth, and after that, in Shibuya Incident, is where it really gets tested and where he truly changes as a character. And even right now in the story, he's still being tested, and he still has a current mindset that I have to say we don't see in a lot of shonen protagonists. And I find that to be a very welcome change, because like I said, I never particularly cared for Yuji. I thought it was cool. His fighting style was very straightforward, and it still is, but he did grow, and I like that. I really, really liked it. And everyone in the JJK community, I think, agrees that Yuji has become a really good character. Granted, there are side characters that are better than Yuji, but Yuji as a protagonist has grown, and I have to say, he's become one of my all-time favorite protagonists, especially in modern shonen. I think top 3 as of right now from the ongoing manga series that I'm currently reading. From finished series, I think top 10, maybe top 5 at the highest as of this moment. Because that's including finished series. Anyway, I think I went too far on a tangent with Yuji as a particular example. What I'm getting at is that there are a lot of criticisms of Jujutsu Kaisen, whether it be its artwork, its choreography. Hell, I talked about the power system very briefly, but some people said that it was a copy and paste of Nen from Hunter x Hunter. And even I put a comparison between JJK and Hunter x Hunter, saying that it was the next Hunter x Hunter, the New Age's Hunter x Hunter. And I stand by that in terms of how complex the power system is and how there are similarities, but that doesn't mean it's copied. That's a lot of arguments when people give any new series a look, saying that it's copying from previous works. Hell, that's one of the main reasons people give Black Clover so much crap, because it felt like it was a copy of Naruto or Bleach. And this goes back to what I said at the beginning of the video in terms of people comparing their favorite series to anything new that comes out and having just unrealistic expectations for any new series and never giving it its own shot and thinking of it as its own thing. Acknowledging that it has inspirations from previous works of different manga series or even other mediums in general, it's just par for the course. Nothing's wholeheartedly original anymore, but it's how you take those inspirations and morph them into something new or unique in their particular aspects. JJK really does, especially from the Shibuya Incident onward, really plays with the shonen formula. It just adds little nuances to it and just has some deeper meanings and very heartfelt moments. And it is technically a lot darker than a lot of current shonen manga series, but then again, a lot of the current manga going on right now are a lot darker in tone, at least more consistently darker than a lot of series from the past. I'm getting off track in that certain aspect. But yeah, JJK, I really do think you guys should give the manga a really good shot. It is honestly a really great experience, and you won't regret it, especially once you catch up, as the current arc going on right now is probably a lot more interesting in terms of the mechanics of the arc and the overarching goal for the characters right now, and I believe it's probably going to set up for the end game, as JJK is set to end within the next 2 years or so. And I can see that happening, but again, you never know how long a manga will truly go for, as things will be added in or altered, and the story can get longer or shorter depending on how things go. But yeah, give JJK a shot. The anime was well adapted. The movie for JJK Zero, which I do suggest you watch if you haven't already, because Zero does add some more depth to side characters in JJK proper, as well as introduces certain characters that will be more relevant later down the road, and it just feels a lot more meaningful. It's not necessarily revealing, but it makes a lot of future events make a hell of a lot more sense, and you'll understand current characters a lot better. And I can only imagine how insane season 2 for JJK is going to look, because that's probably going to be the best season ever. And if JJK more or less blew up in season 1, season 2 is just going to knock everything else out of the water. And I think in terms of hype, it'll be equal to, if not greater than, Demon Slayer's Entertainment District. And that was a really well adapted season, and how it was glued to the screen every single week. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me talking about JJK. Hopefully this video does not get copyright claimed by Shueisha, because if you're brand new to the channel, you probably don't know this, but back in March of 2021, I lost my channel for a good 30 days due to multiple copyright strikes by Shueisha on videos that I have done on JJK, Black Clover, and One Piece, and there were manga reviews, which is why I haven't done them in over a year, not even old face cam video style videos, because I just didn't feel like it anymore. So this video is kind of a risk in and of itself. I mean, my Black Clover video from end of November did pretty well, and it hasn't gotten anything, fingers crossed. So hopefully this video, it does well and it doesn't get copyrighted. This is kind of a risk for me, so I really hope that nothing happens, fingers crossed. But yeah, with all that's said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give JJK a shot. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for updates on future videos. It really does help. Hit the notification bell so you can get updated whenever I upload. Also, if you want to support the channel more directly, go check out my Patreon and my Ko-fi accounts, as I do want to make more long-form content videos. This one's not super long, but videos like this take a lot of time, as I do want them to look really good, as well as with my editors helping me out. So I would appreciate the extra support on Patreon and Ko-fi to help make these videos come out a lot smoother and a lot quicker. But yeah, with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.